and welcome to Literary Soul Sisters.
Woo!
Yes, it's here. Finally here. I know that all of you have been anxiously waiting, bated breath for my pipe, because I've been asked about my pipe several times now.
It's a cool
pipe. Yes, I think my pipe is the new star of the show. Yes.
I would agree. Yes. And I apologize, guys, for the no camera this morning. I couldn't muster the energy to cover up the ugly, so you're just going to have to deal with my avatar today.
Good morning, everyone. The creative blue collar guy. Good morning. Good morning, Roman. Good morning, Shield Wall. Good morning, Mother.
Yes, my mom. She's cleaning in the living room.
I'm really here for the pipe play. You caught me. I knew it. Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna get like an actual like replica of this that does bubbles. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh,
I'm excited. It's going to be good. Oh yes. Anyway.
I would love to get one of Gandalf's actual pipes, but man, they're expensive.
They are. So there's been some news in the world of Rings of Power and Amazon and Lord of the Rings.
Just a bit, just a tiny bit. I mean, did anything really happen? Was it really all that important?
I mean, just a tiny bit. Shield Wall is very sad.
I will be on camera tomorrow for my chill stream. Yeah.
Hi, A2.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and share my screen while you
talk about a blow up in 1 week. Just Amazon. Amazon should just not say a single solitary word until September, like not one. And just because they can't seem to get it right.
It's just, it reminds me, while, because we're talking about Turin as well, it reminds me just the sheer hubris and pride of these people. It's like, hey, we're telling you what you should be doing, what you need to do. And they're like, my pride shall not let me.
Yep. Sorry. Yes, I have something that I just literally thought of. So yes, let's talk about this tweet, and then I want to show you something that we can add to this discussion on a different media site.
Oh my.
Yes, I literally just remembered that someone had told me about this. So let's talk about this tweet, and then we can talk. I want to bring up something else it's basically the same post, just on a different platform.
Yeah, man. So here's my understanding of, just based on the images that we've gotten from Amazon, is, of course, the first one is Warrior Galadriel.
Mm-hmm.
Those two words should not be put into a sentence, but hey. We've got a very feminine Elrond holding
Marcus Aurelius Elrond. That's what I want to call him. I just want to call him Marcus Aurelius or something. Because he's a canny political architect. I'm like, what?
So here's also what after I get through something for you guys to think on and speculate. What is he holding? What scepter is he holding? Is what I want to know. And then, of course, the next one, the sexy Sauron. Yes.
Tiny hand Sauron.
Sauron is so sexy. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Pipe. I said that in your presence. So yeah, my question is, what in all of Arda's name is Galadriel holding, and what is Elrond holding? That dagger has the 2 trees of Valinor on it. I imagine it's probably just a made up freaking dagger that's going to be the key to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're so unoriginal. Yeah.
Yeah.
That scepter seems like, because if you notice right here, it's got like a cityscape. It might be Minas Tirith, the old one that was in Beleriand.
Yeah, that's I don't can we I don't know, it doesn't matter, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean,
Yeah, no, it's not letting me zoom in or
it's
anything.
okay.
Dang
It's
it.
all right. I legitimately don't know what on earth that could be. I mean, there is the scepter of Numenor, but why in God's green earth would he be holding it? I don't understand that. Yeah, exactly.
Amazon based in Mordor. Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
The fact that they are trying to garner legitimacy for their show by slapping the art for it on the OG books, it's like they're conning the normies. Yeah. I haven't talked to a couple of my normie friends about this in particular yet, but I don't think my normie friends are going to have a problem with it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I don't have any friends who are normies, I don't think. Yeah, like I mean, the one thing I'll give them is that I'm going to say this with the caveat of yet. At least they're not they didn't include any of the 22 made up characters. At least these are 3 characters that are in the established lore. I'll give them that. But again, like I mean, even Tugs, who's a normie-ish, she she knows more than most normies. She even commented on this thread of HarperCollins that this show is set thousands of years before the events of Lord of the Rings. That's the Third Age. They're to have a show based in the Second Age. So what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? This is it's so out of touch with reality that like people are like, you're setting in the Second Age. Why do you have Second Age branded characters on a Third Age story?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just yeah.
And like I mean, it just goes to like it's a cash grab. It's literally a cash grab because I imagine depending on what cover people buy, they have to pay royalties to a certain person depending on the cover, I imagine. Because depending on like if it's a cover from who was the most recent cover? I can't think of names. Anyway, they would have to pay royalties to the person who created the art. I imagine this is really mostly in-house stuff, so they don't have to pay too many royalties for the cover of the books. But that's just my speculation based on they want to make money. Yeah. Or they think I think they don't realize, which I don't know how they wouldn't realize. Hi Lady Marine. That they're not going to make as much money by doing what they're doing. No, they're doing all of the things that are going to make them lose money.
I mean, if you just look finding out. Yeah, no kidding. If you just look through the quote tweets, if you bring up the quote tweets, I mean, I was hard pressed to find even have it like be 50-50 split between positive and negative comments. It just seems like everybody is pissed about like this what they're doing, you know what I mean? And the reason, and I think like it's important to say we don't have a problem with what Jackson did because Jackson went out of his way to respect the lore, respect what Tolkien set out. There's that famous interview that they didn't bring any of their baggage to the retelling. You know, we don't have a problem with those covers because they're respectful and it was done right and they those movies are going to stand the test of time. But these covers and this
Stick to Kenobi.
He was on fire that day. He was just like looking for every fight to be found. I mean, more power to him. I don't have that kind of energy, and I don't want to do that. But man, he was taking people to task for that one. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's insane to me that they think, you know, and now that they've bought and paid for half of the big fan sites, who are now going out of their way to block people who are like questioning or anything. It's just incredible to me that they can't see the writing on the wall, but that people are like, no, nope, not okay. And anything you do, we're going to reject. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Hi, Kaylee. Jackson did that because he knew back when he would get destroyed by the fans if he effed it up, he would never work again. I know. Like, the people nowadays just aren't scared to mess stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
You mess it up, oh, I've got another project down the road, I'll be fine.
Yeah. And you know, and but here's the thing. Again, if you look at like quote tweets, and just it would take, you have to go through and take your time looking for stuff. But on myself, for mine in particular, I got some traction on my retweet, but the trolls who came in and either commented or quote tweeted my quote tweet had no traction whatsoever, like none. So this is why I put out, like, stop thinking that we're a minority. The vast majority of people out there are rejecting this, and you're not alone in how you feel about this. People are not okay with what's going on. So the thing is, it's like, are they going to soldier ahead? Yes. But if you just do like the numbers alone about what's getting traction and what's not, the people who are against this are well in the majority for, you know, for being on quote unquote whatever side you're on. The people who are against what Amazon is doing, trust me, we are the majority. The trolls and people who support this crap, they are in an extreme minority.
Absolutely. But yeah, like, it's just like so many, like, you can just keep scrolling, and there's like a couple of like little stupid people, which I don't know what it is or why, but I haven't gotten nearly as much like hate as some other people. Like, I don't know, man. I guess people, I'm too small for people to notice yet.
Oh, girl, trust me, they'll find you eventually. If we keep this up all the way to September, trust me, they'll.
I'm sure.
But the thing is, it's, you know, again, if you look at like, I'll go look at the trolls who come in, you know, and try to pick a fight with me. And I specifically tell my followers, I don't let my followers engage with my trolls because it's a waste of time. And if you have enough time to be engaging with trolls, you have enough time to be doing something productive with your time.
Constructive, yeah.
Yeah, so I tell my followers, do not, just leave my trolls alone. If I get annoyed with them, I'll mute them. But, you know, I'm like, leave them alone. But if you look at their Twitters, they'll have 14,000 followers and not a single one of their tweets has a single like or comment. So to me, it's like, that's a bot. It's not even like a real person. So, you know,
was there something you were wanting to share? Because I'll stop sharing right now.
I'll just share this really fast. It's let's see. Yeah, let's share that. So this is the Facebook official J.R. Tolkien that's got 2 million followers. And I mean, they're getting roasted. Shittiest covers I've ever seen. Still got my copies from the 90s. I mean, and there are some people who are in here just doing what they are going to do. SJW is going to SJW. I honestly can't fathom these editions. This makes zero sense. LOL, no way. In terms of Tiberius, this makes no sense. The professor would never approve of this. Amen. And yet another cover of the same book again. I guess they have nothing better to do. Like, I'm not even on Facebook. I forget I even have
I have Facebook because I have a couple of friends who do events, and the only place
Mhm.
you can get the majority of the people for those events are on Facebook.
Nice. Yeah, I have a Facebook. I have like 90 follower or 90 friends, and I don't even know half of them. I am very tempted to nuke my entire Facebook, whatever. So I don't know, it's just are they gonna put those moose horn
I wouldn't put it past them. They're gonna put
No.
those Harfoots on the
Yes.
cover of The Hobbit.
Yes, they
I
will.
bet you money.
Yes, they will, because I think someone said that the girl in the trailer, the can you feel it?
Can you feel it?
Yeah, I bet
Something
they
new.
said that's gonna be a what am I trying to say? Ancestor of Bilbo, of the Bagginses. So I bet you anything, if that proves true.
Harfoots are. Oh my god.
I know. So anyways, I just think it's interesting. Like, even on Facebook, where I like literally will turn on my Facebook once every 6 months. They're even getting non-canon yeah. They're getting roasted over there. So it's telling. It's telling. I know that this is upsetting, but at the end of the day, you have to remember that people are rejecting this. So, just keep pushing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's like, y'all, this is not meant to brag. This is just meant to tell you how big this thing is. Like, my comment that like my two comments that I made
Mm-hmm.
like about this post have been retweeted like 100 times now, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
it is like, people will, like, there are tons of people looking through the comments and they're like, hey, I know that you are a true fan of Tolkien. We're, like, let's support this together. Like, I have
Mm-hmm.
gotten, a
Yep.
couple of things, like, comments on my comment saying, you're absolutely right,
Mm-hmm.
or I said something about, this is probably fan fiction, and somebody's like, no, it's not fan fiction, because if it was fan fiction, it would be made by a fan. This is something evil. And I was like, yeah. And so, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
um
Mm-hmm.
it's But, like, when you think about, like, and I'm just gonna use fan fiction because I can't think of the other word that we made up to call it. When you, like, fan fiction is completely delusional when you really think about it. Like, some
Mm-hmm.
certain fan fictions that are out there, like about Star Wars or about different anime or about different things like that. Some of it is pretty crazy and out there and nothing like the original.
Mm-hmm.
Um but imagine that getting published instead of the original.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's happening here. Is somebody's like, I'm gonna make up my own stuff and use some similar characters, but I'm gonna make them like how I want to, and now we're gonna publish it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Um uh yeah, I mean, like, some fan fiction I think is good, but it needs to stay in the realm of this never sees the light of day. Like, that's my thing. I've read some really good fan fiction about other stories that I love, but I would never accept it being published ever and put out for all to see. If you want to go search that out, because, like, fan fiction sites, like, they have walls up, like, it's just meant to be a cool place to read something, but you don't consider it part of canon. But
Mm-hmm.
so much fan fiction is just done with love and reverence, but for the most part, I mean, some of it's just shitty and gross, and it's like, this person come on now. But some of it's good, but I would never, for even as good as some of the fan fiction I've read, I would never even put it close to the same level as the original work. This
Mm-hmm.
is not done in love. This is done out of complete and utter desire to destroy and tear down.
Mm-hmm. I remember what we called it. It's not fan fiction, it's stan fiction.
There you go. Stan fiction.
Stan fiction.
So,
It bothered me because I had to look up. I was like, what do we call it?
yeah, stan fiction. That is accurate. Um, so yeah, and like, and in terms of people rejecting this, it's sad to see that some of the bigger Fan sites are now leaning into defending what Amazon's doing, even though they know the lore like the back of their hand. But
Well, they're no longer fan sites, in my opinion. They're shill sites.
they're shilling now, and they're making it quite plain that they no longer are going to defend the professor, which is sad. It's really, really sad. But
the common theme that I'm seeing for today's episode is pride. I think
yes,
pride has a big part to play.
yep.
Pride comes before the fall. Pride, like, what show writers who hate the source material? Absolutely.
Yep. Especially when you have 20 writers in the writing room. Just fudge sickle. How do you get anything done with 20 writers?
Because everyone has their own opinion. Yeah, like everyone's like, that's what happens when you get more than like 2 or 3 creatives in a room. Great things can happen, but also it's just sheer chaos because everyone's like just throwing out ideas like, oh my god, this would be amazing. Oh my god, we should do this.
Yep. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
No, they do because most fans write from a place of love and that they only just want to add to the story. When you're going out of your way to destroy something, then that's a whole other ballpark, because I think excuse me. I think it's very likely that we will see very little of the original characters. I think we're going to get a lot from the 22, probably more, made up characters.
Which they don't have to make up like they literally, like if they were smart, they would have bought the rights to these two. All they needed was to buy the rights to these 2 books, and they would have a plethora of characters to play with. Like,
I know.
Yeah. Which they lied to, like, I remember that, like, you've made the comment before, and like I agree, like in the promotional stuff like several years ago when they were talking about, hey, we're gonna make a new, Lord of the Rings type thing, and they were holding up this book.
Yep, and there were pictures of the gal who's playing Galadriel reading the Silmarillion on set. Like, they literally deceived everyone.
They lied. They bold-faced lied, saying, yeah, we have, making it seem like we have the rights to this. We're going to make stuff out of this. Don't you guys worry. They have the appendices that talk, like, appendices that, like, 150 pages, like, and this, like, versus, let's see how many pages this is. Like at least almost 400 pages. Well, if you take out the pronunciation note on pronunciations, because the rest of this is notes on pronunciations of words. At least 370 something pages of material, and you have 150 that talk about numerous different things for tens of thousands of years. Like,
yep. Yeah, the confidence you're instilling in us is just breathtaking.
Absolutely. I mean, breathtaking is probably a much prettier phrase. I would say suffocating, but hey. Hi, Roto.
Hey, Roto, thanks for being here. So anyway, yeah, just, I don't know. It's nauseating to see those covers. But, again, take heart. We're not alone. We are absolutely not alone in the rejection of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me hold on. The notes on pronunciation. So the notes on pronunciation start after the family history of most of the characters, which is like several pages in and of itself. So 366 and then like 3 or 4 pages. So from like 370 to And then I'm not going to include the appendices. To like 420. Actually, no, the appendices are Quenya and Sindarian names. So yeah, how to pronounce names. So from 370 to 442. It's just how to pronounce names.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. That's like this whole like
That is why you can literally get a degree in Tolkien scholarship, because there are so many things you have to learn, including like 5 different kinds of languages.
And he was a linguist.
Yeah.
The entertainment industry, yes, absolutely. No one cares about good story anymore, and it's all about virtue signaling SJWs pushing an agenda. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the agenda, the message.
Yeah.
The message.
Yeah. Obey. Yeah, and you know what I think? I think like if leading up to September, I don't think we're going to get any promotional material. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think we're going to get any promotional material up like about Elrond or Galadriel or anything. I think we're only going to see the made up characters, because they don't want to give us any more fuel for the fire. And if they're just pushing made up characters, we can't go to the books and be like, they're doing this character wrong because this is how Tolkien wrote it. If they just give us the made up characters, all we can do is speculate, and that you can only speculate about so many things for so long. You know, if they give us more Galadriel, we're going to be able to go to the Fudgesicle. That'll open like a whole can of worms. So I think that they're going to be very selective in how they push the characters, because like I said, you know, we got those 2 promotional pics of Bronwyn and Theo, made up characters. We know nothing about them. And like I said in my video, it's a perfume ad. They gave us a perfume ad. Basically, it's a pretty picture on a mountain. That's it. I can't draw or infer anything from that other than she's standing on a pile of rocks. That's it.
Which, I mean, I'm sure there's probably some speculation that pile of rocks is probably where one of the Noldorian elves was buried or something. I don't know.
Who knows?
They'll make up some stupid BS about here lies Beor or Beor. You know, they'll do some reference to something in the book. Be like, yeah, he's here. He existed. Bye. We're going to move on now. That's all we have the rights to. We can mention his name.
And that's it. Yes. Yep. So, anyways, good old Amazon. They're just not going to learn their lesson.
Yeah. What was the other news that you had, that you said that you had?
Oh, just
was that face?
It was just that the like Nerd of the Rings and Fellowship of Fans they went to that event in London.
Oh, Nerd of the Rings did? Okay, because
they all did. I thought they all had. Did Nerd of the Rings not go? I thought that they had.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know who all went.
I think Nerd of the Rings did go. Or at least they sent a representative.
Okay.
Of one of their people to go to this. And I mean, I can bring up the tweets if you would like me to, but essentially what happened, for those who don't know, Amazon invited a bunch of the fan sites like Nerd of the Rings, Fellowship of the Fans, others, the Tolkien professor, whom I hope I never meet because I might knock his teeth out. But
yeah, you'll light him on fire. How can he have the audacity to call himself the Tolkien professor?
Because
in my opinion,
he's just words I'm not going to say. Anyways, they all got invited to Oxford and got flouted and touted around town. And they got to see, I don't know if it was completed episodes or edited footage of some of the episodes from season 1. And I swear every single one of them came back and had the exact same talking points. I'm optimistic. Tolkien's work is in good hands. I think this will be great. All of them, every single one. If you lined their tweets up, they all said the exact same thing, just in their own words. Optimistic was in every single tweet. And Nerd of the Rings and Fellowship of Fans They've officially been bought and paid for. They are officially defending what Amazon's doing.
That's what I
And
was
it's
afraid of, because I really
absolutely
love
sick.
Nerd of the Rings stuff. Like Nerd of the Rings, like I've watched their stuff for a while.
Yep. And I don't know.
Yeah,
They're
if you look at one of their new partners, I think one of their new partners is like Audible recently or something, yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean like they're and they're like Nerd of the Rings, like for the book covers. So the book covers we just pulled up. I can share this if you want. They
Mm-hmm.
said, let me hold on. They said, I know they're common practice and all, but I'm not a fan of movie show tie-in covers. If it must be a tie-in, I'd rather see concept art or something, Khazad Doom, Barad-dûr, Grey Havens, Rivendell, etc., that play a role in both the second and third ages, perhaps. So I mean, like they're saying some things, but and like this tweet, like who comes up with these headlines? Not your dad's Middle Earth immediately makes me think, well, this dad's Middle Earth won 17 Oscars and is the greatest cinematic trilogy of all time. So I give them props for that. But the fact is that then they're talking out of two sides of their mouths, so I don't trust them anymore. And I said on
Mm.
Salty's stream that this is just going to be a repeat of the Galactic Star Cruiser, who all these people went. They got free. Here it is. They got free rides to go to this thing that was thousands of dollars, and then they had the audacity to come back and say, "Don't think about it. Just go, enjoy. Don't think about it." And and people who were following these Disney bloggers are like, I don't trust you anymore. And they lost thousands of subs because these Disney bloggers were like, I didn't have to pay for this, so therefore it's fantastic. Are you kidding me? So the fact that these guys are
Yeah.
coming back with, I got a fancy dinner by Amazon. Don't think about Tolkien's lore, just accept it. I'm optimistic. I don't think that's going to blow over well.
Yeah, yeah. Shield Wall, it was the price of admission, and I bet my bottom dollar there were NDAs in place that not only have the normal stuff, but stipulate they cannot say about anything negative.
Yep.
I would take you on that bet, yeah. What's going on, Mo? Yeah, I agree, Shield Wall. Those goodie bags they got probably were thousands of dollars.
Yep.
And like they got access to they got access.
They did. And they sold out. So I
Which,
just
like, on one hand, it's understandable if you want to get your name out there and you're trying to not collaborate a little bit, network is the when you're trying to network, when you're trying to get your name out there. I understand, you going to that's
yeah,
good.
this is Oxford. So this is Tolkien talk.
Oh my god. Sorry,
Yeah.
I got distracted by the blah. Anyway, like I get it. I get, like, there are people who try and network and get their name out there and try and get people to shill for them, and but like, don't sell your soul out.
Yeah.
Like, fame is not worth selling your soul. There are plenty of actors and movie stars who would tell you the same thing, that they wish that they hadn't sold their soul out for the fame and fortune, because it's not like being untrue or unfaithful to who you are. Like, it's not
It's not
worth
going to
it.
get you anywhere.
Thousands of dollars worth of goodie bags. Like, nah, man. Like, if I had been invited, which I would have loved to have been at Oxford, like, I would have enjoyed the experience, but I wouldn't have signed anything. That's probably
No,
why I didn't get a
absolutely
memo.
not. And it just galls me to no end. Here they retweeted, do I believe their invitation of us was damage control? In some sense, yes. People weren't getting what they were hoping they would get, so they showed us more and gave us access. Now we will see a little better, and we were impressed. It was strategic, not dishonest. Fuck you. Oh my god, I can't stand this man.
But the thing is, they're telling you, they are literally telling you, yeah, they know that they're not getting the fame that they're wanting, so they're doing damage control.
Look at this. The showrunners won me over personally. Are you kidding me? He literally told you he's been bought.
Bought and paid for. Little stamp on him. Yeah. A2, yeah, you don't need to sell your soul to get people to notice you.
No. You do it organically like what we're doing.
Yes. And you're absolutely right. Shield Wall Bethesda did the same thing for the Fallout 76 launch. A few influencers out to West Virginia Resort and gave them like 5K each in goodies, and the game was ass when it came out.
Yep.
Listening while making lunch. Hope you're having a good lunch, A2.
So anyways, but and I hope this is true. I hope that this is accurate. Someone put this up, and I really hope that if this fails, that they'll throw in the towel. I hope this is true. Because if we make this fail,
well, and here's where I'm somewhat a little sad. Because they have some good stuff. They have some good original content on Amazon Prime. One of my favorite original shows that they have, because I watch Critical Role, is a D&D show, and they're doing an animated series based on one of their first campaigns in Dungeons and Dragons, or D&D, for those of you who don't know. And it's really good. It's really, really good. And so, like, I wish there was a way to encourage them to be like, hey, do more of that. Don't do that. Like, not scrap everything all at once, because they do have a couple of good things in the works. Some people might disagree with me on the show, but I like that other show.
Well, my deal is just they're going to keep on doing it unless we teach them a lesson. And I know that that's sad, and I know that it sucks, because there are some good things out there, but unless we teach them a lesson that we won't stand for this, they're going to keep on. They're going to keep on, and it's really sad, and I hate feeling like that, but it's
sometimes you got to go scorched earth method.
Yeah, a little bit. So I don't know. I have lost all respect for the these fan sites that have completely sold out, and it's like, did you think we wouldn't notice your exact same talking points? Like, did you think we wouldn't see through that? And the Tolkien professor, no, he's done. He's lost all credibility. He can go away. That's all I have to say about that man. So anyways, that is some of the news in a nutshell. I think there was a little bit more that happened, but those were the kind of the two major things that happened this week so far as Amazon's concerned.
Hi, Amber.
Hey, Amber.
Yeah, it just can't be stated enough how sad. Like, this could have been bigger than Game of Thrones. It could have been the biggest, baddest, hottest thing anywhere around. People would have been it would have been bigger than Yellowstone. It would have been bigger than, like, all other things if they cared enough to do it right. Because, like, that's the thing. They want this to be their next Game of Thrones. They want this to be huge, big, everyone's talking about it. But they're going about it in all the wrong ways. Every single step that they're doing is completely wrong. If they had just swallowed their pride, listened to Tom Shippey, been like, okay, we don't agree with that because this is going to mess up the message. But you know what? We want to make some money. So screw the message. Let's make some money. Give people what they actually want. And we're going to be the freaking biggest company out there. They could have been bigger than what they already are. People would have just given, like, hand over fist gobs of money to watch this.
Yeah. Oh, and also, hey, where is the merchandising? We should at least have very generic t-shirts by this point. There is zero merchandising, like none. Where is it? Because that's how you build up to a show. Hey, Tugs, like, that's how you get there. I'm shocked that those posters have not been put on t-shirts yet. And I don't know, maybe I'm not looking hard enough.
I mean, they probably are somewhere. We just also
don't care.
Yeah. But yeah, like, it's just, It's mind-boggling to think the gobs of money they could have made if they'd done this correctly. Like
Yeah.
this would have been the next phenomenon, like bigger than Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones kind of died because of the ending, because the writer is not writing anymore.
So,
Anyway,
anywho, let's move on to our other prideful character.
to the actual topic of discussion.
Yes. Let's just,
Oh.
okay, guys, remember how I was just gushing about Turin last week? Yeah, I take it all back. I take every single word back.
Yeah, just pride is the word for today's episode, because everything we've talked about is just because people are too prideful to be like, hey, I'm wrong, let's do something different. Instead they're just like, no, I know you're right, but I'm gonna do this anyway because my pride tells me to.
Yep.
Oh my god. So yeah, last week we left off Turin was in the company of the petty dwarf Mim. Huge obstacle riders they hired from the inner circle proof peoples. Yup, absolutely. So yeah, Turin and his bunch of bubbly band of bandits. Yeah. Sorry, I just had to. I've been waiting to say that for days now. When I thought of it the other day, I'm just like, oh, bouncing bubbly band of bandits.
Yep, that has them down to a T. I'll say that much. Yep.
And they were in the company of the petty dwarf Mim. For those of you who don't know, so the Unfinished Tales kind of skips ahead, where the Silmarillion kind of talks about what happened while they were in the company of the petty dwarf. Let's see. Yes, poor handling of Wheel of Time. Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I haven't even read those books, but I'm going to now.
Yeah, I want to read those books. Here we go. I was like, where did we start out again? Yeah, so where we left off was after he was in the company of the band of bandits, the bubbly band of bandits. My brain is like, sorry. Where did we leave off last week? My brain is just not...
It's page 122. Neonor and no. Sorry, wrong one. It's page 110. The coming of Turin to Brethil.
Okay, yeah, because I saw Nirin coming into Brethil, and I'm like, no.
So I think
so basically,
no. The Turin had gone home and killed the Broda, and his aunt was like, "Dude, are you for real?"
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because it skipped a little bit, because there was a lot that happened to Turin after the him going and staying with Nim or Mem, whatever. Meme, and him burning down. We forgot to mention all of that craziness that happened in between, which kind of there lays a lot of groundwork for what state of being Turin was in when he talked to his aunt, and his aunt literally burned the building behind him. When scorched earth method. Yes. So kind of to recap what had happened for those of you who maybe didn't read the Silmarillion, which you should have. Basically, his friend Belag, who had been looking for him, finds him again. Right? Yeah, it was again because he found him one time.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, girl.
Oh my god, we're so confused. That's what happens when you read the same story twice that has different
this is before he kills him, correct? Wait, what are you talking about? Because we ended up with him running off and looking for his family now. So
Yes, but I was saying that we didn't tell them about how he was captured by Morgoth, how he
in the
was released, and
Silmarillion. Jeez,
and
sorry.
his first encounter with Glaurung,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then when the reason why he's searching for his family is because of his first encounter with Glaurung, and Glaurung basically saying, "Hey, I know where your mom and sister are. They're dead." And he's like, "No, they're not," and he runs off and finds them. So
yes.
that's why he's looking for them at this point in time in the story, is because he done messed up beforehand. He got captured by Glaurung for their first encounter. He
And
escaped Morgoth, and now he's looking for his sister and
just
mother.
to remind you guys, Glaurung is the massive dragon that does not have wings. He's the father of all dragons. So he's
He's
the
known as the
huge,
Worm.
yeah, so he's a huge, is a huge worm um that enchants people. So that's what we're talking about. He's the first dragon of Morgoth. So yeah, so you know, like in Smaug is able to like enchant and use pretty words to deceive the mind, and I think they did that pretty well in the Hobbit adaptation. But like Glaurung does it even more so. I mean, he's able to make you completely forget everything, as we see with his sister. So Glaurung is really powerful in that he can control like people's minds, and I love that painting. Their hearts and minds, and sway them to believe what he says to be true. He's a great
Yes.
deceiver.
So yeah, we had forgotten to mention that last week, and that was something I wanted to make sure that we touched on, because that plays a big key into what's about to happen to his mom and sister and their company of people. Yeah. So yeah, he's basically looking for his mom and his sister, and then he runs across these wood people in Brethel, and he kind of takes up company with them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of helping them defend their homeland. The person in charge is very much like Thingol, and he wants to keep his people secret and safe. And Turin's like, "We must defend ourselves," and he's like, "I want to keep my people safe. Please stop fighting. Please stop."
Yeah. And the thing is, this guy's lame. He's got a club foot, so he's not any great warrior. He's more scholar and a healer.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if Tolkien was making a comment on manliness or like masculinity, but I mean, you can definitely see the dichotomy between someone who's basically lived with a sword in his hand since he could wield one, and someone who never really got that chance because they were crippled. So, I mean, you can definitely see the two paths a man's life may take. And I don't know. I mean, I'm a woman, so I'm not going to comment on that. But it was interesting to see the warrior and the scholar slash healer coming to blows because they have different ideas of like what makes a man.
Yes. And so during this time that Turin is living with these people, his mom and his sister hear about his battle with Glaurung and how he was captured and stuff. And so his mom is just like, I don't know if y'all remember his mom from last week and how she's like, "My pride will not let me leave this place." And then she left that place later on. Well, her pride also went to, "My son is alive. I must go help him. I must see him. I must go. I must go."
Yeah.
And so she leaves. And Thingol and
Melian are once again, I feel so sorry for them. Fudgesicle, they have just like this slew of people that they are like, you shouldn't do the thing. And they go and do the thing, and they're like, we told you not to do the thing. And now here we are. Those, man, those two have the patience of Everest. I feel so sorry for them.
Because, like, first off, Thingol's like, "Turin, you shouldn't leave because bad things are going to happen and we need you here. Like, you're doing good stuff here. We need you. You are a warrior. You're doing the things. You're doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing here."
Yep.
Stay. And he's like, my pride will not let me stay.
And then when he's like, okay, so we misjudged, you can come home. Like that elf was clearly antagonizing you. And he's like, no, my pride is going to keep me away. I will not return. And all these elves are like, return. I'm sure all these elves are like, humans, man, what is wrong with them?
What is wrong with these humans? And so Thingol and Million are like, please don't go. You're not going to be any help to your son. Please don't go. And she's like, no, I must go. I'm going to steal one of your horses and leave. And so Thingol's just like, can you guys go help her and see what's happened to Turin? And if you guys come back, please come back and let me know what happens. And they're like, really?
Really?
I have to go follow her?
Because, like, she asked for a guard, and he's like, no, I'm not sending my people out. And then when she ran off, he's like, Fudgesicle, go find her.
And so they do. And then apparently her daughter
follows. Yep.
Her daughter's like, I must go too. I must help my brother.
Family of pig-headed, stubborn people. Like, I don't blame her for just being like, I'm gonna go fight in the war because y'all are exhausting to be around.
I imagine so, man. Like, he probably just was like, I'm gonna have kids because your family history is of Bayar, and it'd be great for my family and your family to be together, and so I'll do that. But you are a crazy witch.
Yeah. She was intelligent until she wasn't. And I don't know, maybe like being in Doriath made her realize all those years of being a cold, emotionally absent mother was probably not the best approach to take with her kids. Maybe she was having some mom guilt. I don't know. But man, just lady.
Well, also, like, if you go to the Silmarillion, like, after, spoiler, after Turin's death and Hurin, like, is released, and he goes and searches, and then his wife just randomly shows up and's like, well, I did a bad job with the kids. And Hurin's like, you think? And then they die.
Such a touching reunion.
I know, right? Hurin realizes all of his children are dead, and they had horrifying lives. And his wife, he doesn't know is alive. He doesn't know what's going on, and he finds like the grave of his son and his daughter. Like, it's just like,
yeah, it's awful.
What happened? Like, what? Well, he knows what happens because he saw everything that happened, which drove him crazy, and he's just like, I'm just gonna die here.
Yep, I don't blame the poor man. I do not blame the poor man at all. And then they die. Jeez, yeah, I know. Shieldwall, I don't want to comment on that, one, because I'm a girl, and two, like, I've heard guys talk about masculinity. I don't feel like I'm in a position to say anything about it. I just find it interesting that the way Tolkien writes about it, and then hearing some of my I'm gonna say acquaintances, not friends, talk about like masculinity and like what it means to be a man. I guess, I don't know, I'm putting this really poorly, but it was just interesting that Tolkien made that comparison between these two men. And it's not the first time he did that. The old man that kind of was Turin's friend when he was a little boy, you can definitely see that. I mean, he was harmless enough, and Tolkien was like, oh, you know, something with an L. Tolkien was like, oh, you know, he's just there, but I don't know, I could just kind of see that Tolkien finds the man with the sword to be a little bit more worth your time, I guess.
Manlier.
Yeah, that's
we find out a lot of Tolkien's philosophies.
Yes, there you go.
Well, because he's done both. He was both a philosopher and a warrior.
Yes.
Kind of. He was sick a lot. He did help.
He got sick. He trained the horses. He did train the horses. But as far as actual fighting, he was sick a lot. He was a sickly little boy. You know what? Having said that out loud now I have even more respect for the character of Elrond. If you think about it.
Yeah.
He's a scholar, he's a healer, he's a warrior. Yeah.
I wonder if Tolkien saw himself as Elrond.
Now that you have said that aloud, I kind of wonder that.
That's why we all like him so much.
Right? Oh my gosh. Oh, that's funny. So, anyways, not to go down an Elrond rabbit hole. You know, I'm infamous for those. You know what? We should make a drinking game every time I bring up Elrond. You'll have to drink.
Oh my god! I need to have good things, good shots. I don't want to just take a shot of like nastiness or tequila or something.
Yeah, don't do that. I was talking about tea. I mean, in my perspective, I just take a drink of water.
Oh, I don't want to do that ever again. Speaking of, I need to drink some water. Dang it.
Yeah. You're welcome, Sheila. Well, yeah, I don't know. And I'm also like, I'm so tired. I did not get to sleep last night until 1, so my brain is just, man, these Saturdays. But hopefully, my Friday evenings are going to get to be less chaotic because he was, in fact, all those things. Exactly. So, anyways, so yeah, manliness is talked about. You can see Tolkien's takes on manliness a lot clearer in the Unfinished Tales than you can in the Silmarillion. Anyways, back to this horrible mother.
So yeah, basically King Thingol and Melian are just like, please go help them. And so they do. They're like, okay, we'll go follow this crazy. They call her Fae, which when Tolkien calls someone Fae, it means they've lost their minds. They are just wild people. Because that's what Fae means. For those of you who didn't know.
And like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna throw this out now. These two women are exactly why women should not be in charge, because we make really bad decisions based on our feelings. We should not be in charge, and we should definitely not be leading anybody. There are some women who can do it. I will concede. There are some women who do it quite well, but overall, these two women are like a case study in why we should not be making decisions.
Yeah, the company that I work for is all women, and there's a couple of women, and they're very, very good business people and stuff. But some of them, I'm just like, this is why women shouldn't be in charge. And one of my friends who is slightly left-leaning, I'm going to go on a rabbit hole, sorry. She's slightly left-leaning. These are not quite her exact words, but her words are, I feel sexist for saying this, but this is why men should be in charge of stuff like this. You know, like, because there was something that happened. She's like, I feel sexist for saying this. It feels wrong. I don't like, but it's true. And I was like, why do you feel sexist for saying something that's blatantly true? Because she believes in the message to some extent that women are bestest ever and that women can do anything that a man can do. And I'm like, you're also a Christian. Please remember that men and women are supposed to be doing different duties and jobs, and sometimes women cannot do the things that men can do, and sometimes men cannot do the things that women can do. It's called being equal, not equity. It's equality. There's difference.
Yeah.
Bobby went on to a little tangent there because I'm trying to be nice to her, and I didn't want to tell her all of those things that I just said. Anyway, so Turin's mom's like, Thingol's company of people catch up, and they're like, hey, please come back. Yeah. Please don't make us follow you. And she's like, I must go. And they're like, but we're going to have to go with you. Please understand that we have to go with you. We didn't want to do this. And she's like, I'm still going to go. And then her daughter shows up. It's like, Mother, I'm coming with you. Her mom's like, I told you to stay home. Really? You told me to stay home, but you were told to stay home too. But I must go. I must go too, Mother. And then the elves are just like,
I know. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they just go around chasing the children of Hurin. These poor elves just go around having to clean up the mess and chase after, and they're just always like, where'd they go? And they're like, well, the king wants us to find them, so we have to go find them. Thingol just must have constantly had a headache. I'm just gonna say that.
I'm and no wonder elves really don't like men.
Jesus, no wonder.
I don't like them either at this point.
No, I hate them.
Especially this one particular family. But anywho, So yeah, she's like, "No, daughter, you must go back and stay. You must." And then like the dude in charge is just like, "Why don't both of you go back?"
Yeah.
And she's
And
like,
then
"I'm torn. I kind of want to now because my daughter is as stubborn as I am. But tread onward I must."
yeah. And then
Like
unfortunately
a
we meet
bad comedy.
Glaurung.
Yes, they find Glaurung because yes, they went to the place where he was because they knew that that's the last place where Turin was, and of course they didn't think to see and make sure if the dragon was still there. But
Mm-hmm.
hey. Anywho, so yes, they run into Glaurung, and Glaurung being Glaurung is just like, "Look into my eyes, dear. You'll forget everything." Bye.
Yeah, so more
um
what's her name? So the mom runs off into the horses that they're all riding, and I don't blame them at all, go insane, and they toss all the riders, and everyone gets separated. And um Morwen is lost, and
mhm.
we don't see her again until we see her in the Silmarillion when they both right before they die. And then Nienor, the sister, Turin's sister, gets captured in Glaurung's gaze, and this scene was in the Silmarillion, but he makes her forget everything, and when I say everything, she doesn't know how to speak. She doesn't understand what like laying down and sleeping. She doesn't know anything. She's just like a
She
hollow
doesn't know how
husk.
to human.
No, she can't human anymore. And the poor elf, his name's Mablung,
Mhm.
finds her, and there's this he finds her and has to like take her by the hand and start leading her away. Um and then yeah,
He literally, if you look on 122 at the top, he like because what happened is she got scared one night because of a storm, and so she just went off in the woods. And for the next 3 years, this dude Mablung, God bless his soul,
I
spent 3 years
know.
searching for these two ladies.
Yep, he did. He went back and got some of his folk, and he did. And just like more power to him. And it's interesting that the elves, like, you can tell how exhausted they are of humans, but they do really try to keep them safe. I mean, they really do act in some of them, not all of them. Some of them really do act almost like guardian angels to these dumb humans who can't get their act together. And it's I don't know. It's interesting how Tolkien wrote that, because it's like if I'd been this guy, I'm like I give up. I'm going home. But he did.
Mm-hmm.
He was like I literally because he took on page 120 he said then great was Maglum's grief and bewilderment, but no other choice had he but to lead Nienor so upon the long eastward way without help or company. Thus they passed away, walking like dreamers into the night shadow plain. Um, just Maglum, he's like, not for nothing did I dread this errand, he said, for it would be my last, it seems. With this unlucky child of man, I shall perish in the wilderness, and my name shall be held in scorn in Doriath. If any tidings indeed are ever heard of our fate, all else doubtless are slain, and she alone spared, but not in mercy. Jeez, this poor elf. Like, I feel really bad for him.
Right? Which this kind of makes me think kind of going back into the Silmarillion and like kind of Iluvatar's vision, because we know that the Valar kind of interfered a little bit because they brought the elves to Valinor, when I think Iluvatar's original thing was the elves were supposed to teach and watch over men. I think that was kind of their original thing when men were to come into being. Like the elves were supposed to be their guardians. But when the Valar took the elves, or a lot of them, and men came to being, who were they greeted with? Morgoth.
Yep.
That's who they were primarily greeted with. And so I think honestly this is all the Valar's fault.
kind of is, man. Again, pride. It was pride.
People in real life are like that. They just can't get past things for all kinds of reasons. Pride, ignorance, lazy, or yeah. So sorry, going on that tangent. So basically, this poor child, she doesn't know anything. She literally is running through the woods and she just rips off everything.
Yeah, she takes off all of her clothes.
Because she doesn't know how to human. She's just running, and then she collapses. And then she like drinks water and then runs and collapses again. And then Turin finds her.
Let's make this very clear. Her big brother
finds her naked in the woods.
Yep, and gives her a cloak.
He doesn't know who she is because I don't think he's ever seen her before because
he knows she exists, but he's never seen her.
Yeah. He's never seen his little sister before because his mother was still pregnant when he left for Doriath, yeah. So he doesn't know. He has no idea. And so he finds this lady naked in the woods, brings her back to Brethel. Right? Yeah, it was Brethel.
Yeah, Brethel.
Yeah. Takes care of her, and then the whole town starts teaching her how to human again. Because she has no memory of anything. And
you know what? And here's what's interesting. Tolkien goes out of his way to say it is only the women of this town that teach her how to human again. It's only the women. She can ask questions. She does ask questions. She's like, what is this thing called? And they're like, it's a spoon. You eat with it. But it's the women who teach her like a child. And I'm like, yes, that's what they're supposed to be doing. Not leading armies.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Shieldwall. We appreciate that.
Yes, we do. So yeah, they teach her how to human, and then two people fall in love with her. How it always goes. One of them being her big brother, who she doesn't know is her big brother, and he doesn't know that she's his little sister. And she falls in love with him back for some odd reason, because she has this drawnness towards him.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm really he had another sister whom he loved dearly and knew what she looked like. You're telling me that these two sisters were so different he couldn't be like, look at her and be like, you know what? Something's familiar about that girl. Really?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too this entire time. Yes, Shieldwall, that's exactly what I said before the stream started. I was like, Tolkien must have been reading some of Socrates and Plato and Aristotle. He must have been reading some Greek tragedies, because this is exactly how Greek tragedies go, man. Anyway, so yeah, so the leader of the village who is disabled falls in love with her. But she sees him as a brother, but she falls in love with her brother,
her actual brother.
and the dude is just like, man, something like this dude had some sixth sense or something, because he's like, man, something just ain't right about this. Something ain't right about you. Something ain't right about you. Something ain't right about this.
Well, and again, you have to give props to this. What was that? What is this guy's name? I can't even remember. It starts with an M.
It does.
I'm sorry, guys. I know one day we'll start remembering people's names, because we know this is confusing, but it's hard to keep all these people straight, especially when they change their own names.
Turin's gone through like 4 names.
Yeah, we're up to 4 now, because now his name is technically Turambar, which means bringer of doom. That was prophetic. The leader of this village, he is, and again, it gets back to this interesting dichotomy. It's like, again, I don't know, you kind of see it in the Northmen, to bring that up again. It's like the difference between just the berserker warrior, who that's all he knows, and then someone who's a little more philosophical. Did I say that right? I don't know if I said that right. Who's able to look at the situation and be like, something's not right. You're exactly right. Like, something's wrong with you, and something's wrong with you, and something about this just does not sit well. But because Turin is he is what am I trying to spit out? Turin is the one with the black sword. He is the warrior. He's the one who came in out of nowhere and started defending this village. It's an interesting play on what makes a man and what is masculinity, because the leader is able to look at the situation and be like, nope, something about this is making me not feel right. And then Turin is like, shut up! I am the warrior. I will do all the things. And I'm marrying this woman and no one will ever 5,000 no shield. Well, shame on me. And I feel sorry for this guy. So I don't know. He has the dark saber. Essentially, Tugs, yes, this black sword it makes the rounds to all these warriors, and it can talk, weirdly enough.
Yeah, it's sentient. It's like, I want your blood.
He decides who he's gonna kill. It's weird.
Basically.
But finally it breaks. But yeah, like, to me, it was a very interesting conversation to be had about these two men who are vastly different.
His name's Brandir, by the way.
Brandir, thank you. And that the fact they don't listen to each other. They each have a piece of the puzzle, but they refuse to listen to each other because they're both stubborn men. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yes.
I know, right?
Tugs, yes, that is accurate.
Yes, talking swords are also very D&D.
That's funny. So little sister and big brother decide to tie the knot.
And they have it.
You know what? Can you imagine?
So many messed up things.
I know.
This is why if you ever want to read a Greek tragedy, make sure you do not read it at night, because it's messed up, man. This is messed up things. Make sure you also have a therapist.
Exactly, after you get done with it. You know, I hate to say it, but the level of just destruction this family had wrought, can you imagine what would happen if that child had been born? Just the level of I know. So many bad things. That kid would have been so jacked up.
Anywho, moving on. Basically, Brandir is just like, something's wrong with this. Everyone should have listened to him. And then time goes on, about a year or so, and they conceive, baby on the way, and Glaurung appears. He's like, hey, I've been sitting here for a while. That Turin guy is causing me issues. I need to go take care of him. Mm-hmm. And Turin is like, the dragon is going to come. We must do something to defend ourselves. And Brandir's like, it's a dragon, dude. We need to get out of here. Like, what are you doing? We need to get out of here. And Turin's just like, no, I'm going to go fight. And he's like, men, who's going to go with me to fight this dragon? And there's like, That's basically what it is.
That is accurate. Which is ironic, considering then his wife / little sister rallies almost to the entire village, and they're like, onward shall we charge. Again, women should not be leading.
So Turin basically gets like two other dudes to go with him, and they're on this errand. And then as they're gone, his little sister / wife, is like, men of Brethel, how dare you leave these men who have blood? Put in good, strongly worded women speech here. About men do better. Let's go.
Exactly. And she's like, she says something to the effect of, your entire village will be it sounds like something Malfoy would say. Yeah, it is. She says something to the effect of like, your entire village will be destroyed if you don't do this. And I don't know. It's interesting is that this speech is reminiscent of Feanor's speech when they're leaving the Valinor. When they're leaving Valinor, it's very reminiscent of like the oath that they take, and she stirs up their blood, and like women and children and old people, like they follow her. So it's, I don't know. Again, if he was like, it's this common thing that we find through his works of people who don't think, charging ahead recklessly. Yes, shield
It's
wall.
kind of like what I do in Left 4 Dead 2. For those of you who know what that game is.
Yeah.
Zombie game.
Well, yeah. So yeah.
So
I don't know.
basically, all these people are going to go help slay this dragon, and these 3 guys are going in, and one of the guys gets really scared. The one who was like starting to poke fun at the main dude, or the leader of the village. He was like, "How dare you, you clubfoot!" He actually turns tails and run, and the one who really didn't want to be there actually sticks by Turin, which is really noble. He dies from a rock falling on his head. Tolkien's death scenes for some of these people is just okay.
I know, right? Like, oh man, I can't even. It's
He died.
Yeah, and he's dead. And then they sat down and they died.
And so Turin's like, he has this moment of clarity. I think he's like, why did I take people with me? They were gonna die. It's like,
Yeah.
well, no, duh, Sherlock.
Right?
So he goes, he finds Glaurung about to jump over a little ravine area, and he's like underneath him, takes his sword and he pokes him. And he loses his sword because Glaurung is too big, and he just like loses the sword in there. Glaurung is like thrashing around, and some blood falls on Turin's hand, which is venomous blood. So he's kind of like knocked out.
He's stunned.
Yeah, he's definitely stunned and paralyzed. And who was to come upon this scene? It was his sister / wife.
Yep,
his sister wife.
Anyway, gross. That somehow made it worse. His sister wife.
No shield wall, not the. He didn't stab him in the junk. He just stabbed him in like the belly,
stomach. Yeah,
that's the way it's kind of made you think. Is the belly. Yeah. So his I won't say it again because actually, yes, I will. His sister wife finds him with the dude who really likes her and wishes that he wasn't in this whole situation. They both, because he's chasing her, trying to talk her out of chasing her brother / husband. And they find the bodies, and basically she's just like, he's dead. Yeah. Oh my god, he's dead. And just crying and wailing and all the things. And then Glaurung, with his final breath, looks over. He's like, oh, hello again. We've met previously. You're his sister. And she gets all of her memories back.
Yeah, so he basically restores not only her life prior to being married to her big brother, but he doesn't take away the memories of the past, 3-4 years,
roughly.
So he basically gives her back everything without taking anything away this time, and she's like, what? And poor thing,
she throws herself off a cliff.
She does. She casts herself into deep waters, and she drowns herself in the baby. So yeah, she was, I think, 2 or 3 months pregnant.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. She just threw herself off a cliff, and then the dude who really liked her was just like,
"What just happened?
What?" And so he goes back
because they think the village dead. Like you have to. They think Turin's dead, so they just left his body there.
I thought that's where Sneeze the last word. Yes. Very Romeo and Juliet. Yes.
Yeah, the level of drama with this family, God. They're epitome of dysfunction.
So, dude limps back, finds the dude who tucked tail and ran. They have a scuff, and he stabs him, and he's like, "Oh God, I just killed a dude. Okay, I killed my cousin." Anyway, let's go back to the village and tell the people.
Yeah.
So he goes back and tells the village, like, hey, the dragon's dead. Huzzah! But also, Turin's dead. and
Nor.
and yeah, Nor. And then Turin just walks up behind him.
Yeah. And he's like, "Where's my wife?"
She threw herself off a cliff, dude.
Because guess what? You guys are related.
And the people don't believe Brindir because Brindir told them that Turin was dead, and of course he's not dead. And then they're like, "Oh, you're just jealous of him, you club-footed little man." Very nice of his own people to do that. And then Turin's like, "How dare you?" and blah blah. And he so basically he's like, "I'm gonna kill you," and he kills him.
Yeah, that's not to put too finer a point on it. And here's the thing. Here's what's interesting. Again, this idea of pride goes before the fall. When whatever his name is, Brandir, told him, like, "Hey, dude, I'm really sorry, but the reason your wife cast herself over a cliff to kill herself is because, lo and behold, she's your little sister. She's the sister you've been searching for." And Tolkien says that Turin in his heart knew the truth. Like he was like there was this swell of emotion that made him realize what he was saying was true, but he wouldn't swallow his pride, and so attacked another person and kills him. So Turin, he what's sad is that like Turin had the opportunity, I think, to be very much like Aragorn, but he in this case let his pride get the better of him in every single instance. So he knew the truth. And like way back when Maglum is like, "Hey dude, King Thingol forgives you. We understand that Elf was taunting you. Please come back. All is forgiven. We're not going to hold this against you." And he's like, "No, I can't." Even though he was like, that's what he wanted, he wouldn't accept it. So Turin just, man, his life did not have to be this hard. He intentionally made it this hard. He did this to himself.
He did.
Because he didn't listen to the counsels of the wise.
Yep. And that's one of the things, like, kind of going back onto manhood, like, even in manhood, there's a balance between wisdom and, going out and fighting. Like, in the Bible, it says there's a season for everything, which is true. Yeah. Like, there's a season for fighting. There's a season for, counsel of wisdom, which that should always be in season.
Yeah.
And like there's different times for these things, and Turin's just like, "No, man, I'm gonna do my own thing." Yeah. And then he runs off after he kills this dude. And he runs into this party of elves who's been looking for his sister for years now.
Yeah, so this is Maglon. But Maglon, this poor man, has been chasing this family for what?
For 3 years.
Well,
3 years.
But he even knew Turin when he was a little boy. So it's like, he's known this family for a while and all the grief that they've caused.
And then Turin runs into him. He's like, "Hey, where's my mom and sis?" And he's like, "Well, we don't know." And then he's like, "What did my sister look like?" And so he describes, yeah. And then he realizes, oh God, and then he runs away. And then this poor elf is like, "Do I have to chase another one of them again?"
Again? Seriously, we're back to this?
And so Turin basically goes back to where Glaurung's body was and just talks to his sword. His sword's like, "Hey, can you take my blood?" And the sword's like, "Yeah, man, you done unjustly killed a ton of people." Yeah. And so he
puts him down like hilt first.
Yeah. It's called seppuku? No.
I know not what you speak
You know
of.
What I mean? The samurai, when a samurai is dishonored.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, okay. I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
So yeah, he casts him, and then poor Maglon, I just feel bad for this elf. He's like, "My words killed my friend whom I loved," and yeah, and he basically has to bury his friend because his Maglum confirming what Turin knew. It seems like in his heart that he'd done the deed with his little sister. It just drove him over the edge.
Oh, what's up, Phil?
No, Phil. Not at all. That's why you've got my avatar.
Seppuku. Yes, thank you, Shieldwall.
Nice.
But yeah, man, like the one of the wikis that's about Turin and his family call him an anti-hero, and I can't think of a better term to
Yes.
call Turin than an anti-hero. He's basically he wants to do the right thing, but he's also too prideful to do the right thing. So he
Yeah.
does what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Does whatever he wants.
Which it's sad. I find it interesting that Tolkien doesn't. Not every single one of these men is great and honorable and good. Like this guy just makes mistake after mistake after mistake, and it all boils down to his pride. Like literally, there's nothing else to be said other than his pride. And again, and I feel like his mom is slightly to blame for that because she just would not mother him. I understand that his dad was gone a lot, and I understand that boys need their fathers. I get that, but she just was not there emotionally for him at all. So this
Right.
whole family is just, man, talk about a series of problems this family had, and it gets down, I think, a lot their personality types. Just their personalities just really set them up for failure a lot.
But also like just kind of I mean, he was raised by really good people though at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, Thingol literally adopted him as his son, and Thingol, we know, is like, please don't do the thing. Please don't do the thing. And I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't do the thing. Here's why. Please don't do the thing. And they go off and do the thing. And Melian is just like, I'm so over this.
Basically, yeah. And then like the next part kind of his father's story, because like where Turin's story ends, we pick back up his father's story. After his children die, he's released by Morgoth because the dude still knows where Gondolin is, and so Morgoth is like, okay, I've now broken this man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to release him, and he's going to show me where Gondolin is, and he does, in a sense. He shows him where the area of Gondolin is.
Mm-hmm.
Because he goes to Thingol and he's like, man, Thingol, what happened to my kids, man? And Thingol's like, I did the thing. I told them not to do the thing.
I tried my best. I did my utmost to keep your kids out of trouble, and they wouldn't listen.
And so then he realizes, what he kind of starts to come to himself a little bit, and then he goes back to where his kids died, and then all of a sudden his wife just shows up.
Out of the clear blue.
Like, hey, hi, honey. How are you?
It's not like they have some sort of tender. She's just like, oh, you're here.
Yeah, basically, the kind of back and forth a little bit is he's sitting there, she comes up and she's like, you come at last, she said. I have waited too long. There's a dark road. I have come as I could, he answered, but you are too late. Well, isn't that a nice thing for a wife to say to a husband?
Okay.
They are lost. I know it, but you are not, question mark. But Morwen said, almost, I am spent. I shall go with the sun. Now little time is left. If you know, tell me. How did she find him? But Hurin didn't answer, and then
which is probably for the best.
Yeah. And so she just kind of sat there, and then when the sun came back up, she died, and then he died.
Yeah. Because remember, like Morgoth set him up on a high hill in a stone seat and made him watch everything his family did and went through. All of it.
Mm-hmm.
He knew exactly what had been going on. So maybe it was a mercy he didn't tell Morwen that her children had. Yeah.
Oh no, there's actually more to it. No. So Huron didn't die immediately. He found Mim and killed Mim.
Oh, that's right. That's how Mim dies.
Yes, Mim. Yeah. And then he goes and talks to Thingol, and Thingol tells him the thing, and then he goes back and he dies.
A lot of dying.
But
up and die.
yeah, a lot of people died in the first age. A lot of people.
Oh, Arkansas, I'm sorry. Stupid YouTube. We're good,
yeah,
sir.
that's weird. That's weird. It's going. We actually just got done with talking about the story of Turin and a little bit left of like what happened to Hurin, and then basically the reason for the fall of Gondolin is because of this family.
Yeah. This whole freaking family. This whole family.
Pride comes before the fall, but not always the fall of what you love. Sometimes the fall of what other people love.
No kidding. And destroying.
So Mim died. Yes, Hurin knows what Mim did to Turin and company, and so he's just like, "Hello, little man."
Yeah, I have returned.
I am Hurin, father of Turin, of the one that you betrayed. And Mim's like, "Aw, shnikes."
Yep. Loose link.
That
is true.
Yeah.
So I unfortunately did not get into the appendix for this story, but I know, Mando, you like skimmed it. I mean, is there anything we want to talk about from the appendix?
It more or less kind of talked about the back and forth that Belag and Turin had with each other at different points in time, and how basically Balag's like, "Hey man, stop running around with these bubbling bag of bandit baboons that you're running around with." I'm gonna just keep adding B words to it. It's gonna be great. And come back home. We need you. And Turin's like, "Man, I want to make my own empire. I want to, not empire. I want to have my kingdom back. I want to rule like my father. I want my." He basically is like, "I'm a child and I want my stuff back."
Yes.
And Belag's like, "Please don't." And so there's just a lot more of this kind of back and forth between Turin. It just kind of goes into more detail about different conversations that we don't really get into in the Unfinished Tales and the Silmarillion. And it also talks about, you guys remember the elf chick, the whole reason that Turin is allowed to come back home because this elf chick loved him. It talks about their conversations they had and how it is confirmed she loved him, but he saw her as a friend.
There's a lot of friend zoning going on in this story.
So much friend zone.
If both those kids had not friend zoned the only two people who actually would have loved them, we would not have had these problems.
So many good things would have happened. Like if Turin actually returned the love to this elf chick, he would have stayed, and Thingol like would have had Gondolin for like ever and ever and ever. Because, well, actually no, Hurin would have still gone there to search for his son. But it would have been a better because they would have had Turin to fight for them. And if this chick had just stayed in Gondolin, she would have been actually, if she'd stayed in Gondolin, she wouldn't have she would never have met the dude from Brethel if she'd stayed.
Wait, you mean not Gondolin, Doriath?
Doriath, yes, sorry.
Yeah, if she just stayed put, if she'd listened to Mommy Dearest,
she would have been alive.
She would have been alive, and she would have just been happy. Sad but happy. Which is a common theme in Tolkien's writing. Sad but happy. We're sad, but we're fine.
But yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. So the appendix basically is like, here are some little tidbits that my dad didn't really expand upon or refine too much, but I wanted to include them. So God bless Christopher for also taking the time to do that. So I think it's just none of this really fit in with the story he was editing, but he wanted to give the reader these last little tidbits of like what could have happened, what should have been there if his dad had more time to refine it. So that's what this is.
Yeah, and just like it had more like conversations. He also Yeah, it more or less was more in detail about just different conversations, and he actually had, I think, a different ending, or not ending, but a different dialogue that Turin was supposed to have with Glaurung. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because Glaurung was talking about, oh, that helmet that you wear has my face on it, so I am your true master. And Turin's like, BS, MFer, I've got you, I've got you.
No. He didn't add them. Arc. What he did is like he found these writings of his dad, but they didn't fit it. Like they were either contradictory to the larger pieces of writing he found of his dad's, or they were
They
edited
just,
pieces. They just didn't
yeah,
fit,
well,
right?
and also it would have made some parts of it would have made, like, there's certain conversations you just need to know that they happened. You don't need to know every single word that was spoken during those
Mm-hmm.
conversations, and that's kind of what a lot of this is Christopher was like, oh, here's more conversations that these two people had with each other that we kind of already got an idea of what happened in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
it was
Mm-hmm.
extra, just extra stuff that Christopher found that he's
Mm-hmm.
like, doesn't really, I mean, it does kind of add a little bit to the story, but not enough to really make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Um, kind of, yeah. That's what the unfinished tales are. Is him kind of stitching them in,
Mm-hmm.
to the stories. But yeah, just like different versions of conversations that happen, different conversations that we know happened, but we don't know what exactly was talked about. Descriptions of different places. Um, Different words that are like some proper pronunciations. Um, yeah, just kind of just extra tidbits here and there. I think they're a part of the. Yeah, that exactly, Shield Wall. Because that's what a lot of writers do is they'll write extra things that
Yes.
just help them
Yes.
understand the story in their head better. Um
Like Rowling has whole notebooks full of extra stuff. But she said it's not necessary to the story, but it was necessary for her.
yes, like a conversation that happened, quote, like, putting it in movie terms, a conversation that happened off screen that that happened, but you don't need to see everything about the
Yes.
conversation because you know what happens based on what happens on screen, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Correct.
So that's kind of what a lot of this is. And of course, like the unfinished tales. So it's just like unfinished bits and pieces that Christopher found, and he was like, "Oh, okay, I see what this is." Just kind of editor's notes, like, this is how this helmet is supposed to look because
Mm-hmm.
Tolkien was that detailed. Uh,
And how and also like some changes, like you were saying that Glaurung and Turin had a slightly different conversation in one pit, and yeah, like I can't remember. There was something last week that like he had said that, oh, who was it? I can't even remember, that they crossed over a frozen part of the, oh, it was when he was going to Gondolin. It was when Tor was going to Gondolin, and the elves and him, they forded the river, but then in a different copy there was a they forded a frozen part of the river. So it was just stuff like that.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and just some stuff that didn't quite, like, he wanted to make things work a certain way, but it didn't, so he just kind of like put it aside. Yeah, absolutely arc with Terry Pratchett. Um Also, just something that I thought was interesting. We can go through kind of the genealogy of Turin and stuff a little bit because I've got this handy dandy thingamabobber. Me get out of that.
You know,
Don't leave studio.
it's funny. Don't leave the studio. Don't eat yourself out. You know, it's find it kind of interesting. If I were to read this again, and I do really want to, I want to read these again. I would read Silmarillion and Unfinished Tales kind of at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that is,
You need to read them
yeah.
side by side because so much that happened, like there are things alluded to that then in the Unfinished Tales you're like, oh, that's what
That
happened.
makes sense.
Yes. So I would read them next to each other, not one right after the other.
Yeah, so for those of you who are kind of wondering how does Huron and Turin relate to, a couple of other people that we know, they're cousins kind of thing. So when we talked about Tuor coming to Gondolin, we told you guys that he was the cousin of Turin. So Tuor is actually the father of Elendil, who is the father of Elrond and Elros. So yeah, that's kind of like how that ties into later on stories. I always find it very intriguing to see how things that we're reading right now tie into future stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not sad though that Hurin's line did not end up in Elrond's line. I'm glad it was Hur, even though Tor was crazy too.
Yeah, Hure and Tuor, like they actually like as far as this particular line, yes, very good side of the family to stay alive. Because one of the other sad things about like Morrowind's family, because I also looked up that house, because she is of the line of Beor, who is like related to Baron, like where Baron's over here, like. So she's down here. Baron and Luthien is over here, and like it's just it's sad that this side of the line kind of did die out with with that,
But again, that kid would have caused so many problems.
Yeah.
There's just a doom on that family. There is just a doom on that family. It's sad. But that kid, I feel like just, so many problems. So just the elves would have been like, no more of this line. I can't take it.
Basically. And if we want to go further down, we get, all of this from Tuor, who is Turin's cousin. Tuor is the one who actually helped save people in Gondolin and stuff. Actually, no, this line still, I was wrong. This line is still good with Tuor's. Because they were okay, yeah, never mind. They married cousins. Oh, ew. When you think about what happens later on in the life of this family,
gross.
So, anyway,
yes, Pride. Okay, so takeaway from this part of the Unfinished Tale: Pride does a lot of damage very quickly. So yeah. So I still enjoyed it, but I enjoyed the first half of Turin's story much better than the latter half.
I mean, when you get imprisoned by Morgoth for a few years, you tend to
yeah, I mean, it's
go a little crazy. But man,
I know,
man, like he had so much potential.
He did. It's sad. It's unfortunate, and he kills his best friend, and then he has a sister
Which he
wife.
killed his sister wife. That's gonna be the thing now. Whenever we talk about the story, is Tuor and his sister wife.
Yep, there you go.
That's what I should have named this. I should have named this episode of Turin and his sister wife. I don't think anyone would have shown up for it though. They'd be like, what the heck is this?
What are you talking about?
Oh man, that whole imagine if their kid had lived.
No.
Oh my god.
No.
Oh man.
So, anyways.
So next week on Elijah's channel, we're going to be talking about Numenor. Yay!
Yeah. Which I was looking at this. This is a little chopped up. So I'm thinking next week, because next week maybe we should go all the way. So we should do the description of the islands of Numenor, the Mariner's Wife, which I have no idea what that's about, and
neither do I.
And that last little tiny bit of do all of Numenor on mine. What is that? Where is it? Where is it? The line of Elros, the kings of Numenor. We should do that whole entire bit on my channel next week, because it all kind of, I think, ties together. And then we can start with what I have been looking forward to so very much, is the history of Celeborn and Galadriel.
Yeah, also guys, this much of the Unfinished Tales is what Amazon Lord of the Rings thingy mabobber, whatever we want to call it, is going to be kind of talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think. We think.
Maybe.
Because it's the Second Age.
In theory.
In theory.
So yeah, so I think next week we'll cover all like these 2 itty bitty little chapters because they're so small, and then the entirety of the Mariner's Wife. And then this line, this last bit, this number 3, the line of Elros. All it is a description of all the kings of Numenor in a brief. He was born this year and he died this year. That's all it is.
Hi, Sarah. This is one of my best friends, guys.
Oh, hi.
Hi
Hello.
there. She's the one who does the. Oh my god, I'm gonna get it wrong again. Crocheting.
There you go.
Crocheting things.
There you go.
Hang it, I got. Yeah, we're still in the Unfinished Tales, guys. For those of you who are following along, that's where we're gonna be talking about. Yeah. Next time. Next time,
hopefully there's no incest.
We don't want sister wives here.
No more sister wives. No more sister. I'm good. I'm so good. I'm so good on this theme. I don't ever want to read it again.
What? You don't want to read more Greek tragedies about how this is a thing?
No, thank you.
Yeah, clickbait. But man, like, I'm just not about clickbait. But food for thought next time. Whenever we get our episodes uploaded to Spotify and places, that's what we'll name this one.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, yes, and we are coming to Spotify. Just
eventually.
We'll get there eventually, guys. We promise.
One day, I promise. Yes, for those of you who've been asking, we are working on it. It's going to be a thing.
It's just time.
Sorry,
time consuming.
Knitting. No. Missed opportunity. Yes, knitting. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you do knitting. Okay, yes, I knit too.
I'm sorry, Sarah. She's gonna message me and be like, "How dare you do this again?"
2 sticks, knit one.
I always think about the opposite. I'm like, okay, I think it's knitting, so it has to be the opposite.
Yes, yeah, I hear you. So anything else before we bid adieu? Hi, Jay. Seriously, dude.
Oh, hi.
Right
again. What's up?
Hey, Jay. How are you this morning?
We still have a few minutes. Oh, my air conditioner just kicked on. I was like, it's starting to get hot in here. It's getting hot in here. We're not gonna take off our clothes though. Not like Nienor.
Not like Nienor.
Yeah, not like Nienor. We're not gonna do that.
You know what? Okay, hold on. Something else I can say. Again, this was an interesting treatise in when masculinity is like just turns into pigheadedness, and when women, I'm sorry, don't stay in the kitchen. There is a point where just you need to shut your mouth and not be leading people out of their village. Jay heard Sister Wives and was like, "What?"
Yes.
Maybe we've been talking about incest.
Yeah. But if incest stories are your thing, Greek tragedies are the place to go.
Yes. I have to wonder if Tolkien either taught a class on something and he's like, you know what would make a great story? A brother not recognizing his sister. Even though he had another sister who probably looked exactly like her.
Yeah, how can he not recognize his sister? Like, that was the thing that kept going on and on and on in my head, because we get hints throughout this whole story of, man, she looks familiar. She reminds me of this. She just, I'm oddly attracted to her.
Here's the thing, is that I think Turin, when he met Magblon, the elf, whatever the hell his name is, he was like, he deliberately described her wrong so that Magblon could be like, no, she was fair and had blonde hair. Like, no, she wasn't. She didn't have dark brown hair. She wasn't tan. She was very fair of face, and she had blonde and blue eyes. I think that like Turin did that on purpose so that he could like confirm that he had slept with his sister.
It's like, dude, I not only did I sleep with my sister, but we was about to have a baby.
Yeah.
What is this stream coming to?
Good old Tolkien. He didn't shy away. I'll give
He
him
did
that
not.
much. He wrote
Man,
about all
and
the things.
Amazon seems to think they're gonna write a story better than Sister was.
Holy crap. Just go read the story. Yeah. Again, the arrogance of we're gonna write the story that Tolkien never wrote. He literally wrote about incest. How much worse can it get?
He literally thought about the pronunciation of the names. There's a whole thing in the back of the Silmarillion. Like we just showed you guys. Did the lady just throw up in her mouth?
Yes, I did.
There's a whole thing, like almost 100 pages of worth of Tolkien just being like, "Hey, this is how you pronunciate these words."
Well, there's a whole index. Next time I'll show it to you guys on my channel. So there's the Peoples of Middle Earth, and then there's the index. And the index is just hold on 1 second. I'll skip that chapter. You know, I to each the just yeah.
What are they gonna? I wonder how. They don't have access to this story, do they?
No, they don't. And I don't remember Turin being mentioned anywhere. This index is almost 500 pages long.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the index is huge. The index is massive. So yeah, it's again, you know, I was like, oh, Turin, he's my favorite. I love this story. It's like the Northmen, and now I'm like, ugh! Now I'm grossed out. Wait, what does that say? That's the same sound she makes when that. Yes. Let's not have this derailed into silky talk, please. I get enough.
I will only say this: Silky lives matter.
Yeah. All of you can F right off.
You know we do this because we love you.
I don't feel loved. Anyways. So,
yes, I too. But yeah, now I have a headache from laughing so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so guys, we're this far. For those of you who are reading along, we are in part 2, the Second Age, in the Unfinished Tales, and we will be reading up to page 231.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the good part that Amazon's gonna screw over.
Yep. I'm so mad. Yeah, I cannot wait to get to Celeborn and Galadriel. Team Lage, thank you, A2. I love you. Always have my girl backing me up.
Oh gosh.
So anyways, yeah, so next week is going to be fun. So next week we're going to get into more of Numenor, which again, this whole section of this book, just Amazon's going to completely screw up. So
right, because this is the part where we are getting into Rings of Power territory.
Yes.
Which is, yeah.
Oogie. Anything else?
We let them know it was on your channel next week. My wonderful moderator Peoples, can you please put a link to Elijah's channel in the chat, please, so people know to follow, or sorry, I'm speaking Twitch language. Go subscribe to her channel. All of the likes, all of the hearts, all of the things. She's going to be monetized probably soon here.
Oh, gosh. Here, I got it. Because I had it pulled up.
Okay.
Yeah, so next week on my channel, and Switch is coming soon. So that's all I have to say.
That's right, guys. She's going to be streaming on Twitch, and it's going to be amazing.
Well, I have to
Um,
say, I'm a little nervous about this because I've noticed in the past I've never gotten a tension headache when I stream like this. But whenever I play a game, like after the first 45 minutes, I get such a bad headache that I have to lay down.
mhm.
So I really hope that that doesn't happen because I don't want my streams to be like annoyingly short. But y'all are gonna have to bear with me as I make my way through Twitch because I'm a little like I've got some trepidation about this. So
Shield Wall, what's the next thing for me? See what day is it? Today is Saturday. Tomorrow, me and a few friends will be playing, I believe, Gartic Phone on Mana Gamers. I will be joining Aleja's stream. Hopefully, I might be a little bit late tomorrow. And you're streaming 7 p.m.
yeah,
Central Standard Time tomorrow.
yes, and
Um,
probably this Sunday will probably only be about Lord of the Rings news because there's a lot to go over.
yes. Uh, just play a puzzle. Just play a puzzle game or something.
Oh, you're welcome,
Thank you
Roman.
guys. Yes, Roman. So yeah, tomorrow Aleja's chill stream Sundays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You will probably see me there. Are there going to be any guests or?
Yes, I this week has just been insane. I'm gonna have to ask a few people today. Lady G might join us. Salty is a for sure. I'm gonna reach out to a couple other people and see if they would like to come on. So Lady G might be there. I'm gonna send her the link, and if she pops in, great. If not, I told her no worries. So
Yes.
yeah.
So you'll see me there, more than likely, maybe a little bit late. And then Monday, I will be doing my standard Mario Kart streams on my Twitch channel at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Anyone who has a Switch and Mario Kart, or if you just have Mario Kart and are able to play, I don't know how cross-platform works. I don't think it does. But if you have a Switch, you have Mario Kart, you are welcome, and you have a Pulse, you are welcome on my Mario Kart streams on Mondays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then, of course, I have my Wednesday streams, and then Friday, I don't know what I'm doing there. But yeah, that's kind of that's there.
All right.
Thank you, creative blue collar guy, shield wall mode. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Roman. Thank you, A2. Thank you, my friends. You guys are amazing. We love you.
Yes.
Don't miss out on Aleja's stream tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then my Mana Gamers stream tomorrow, we believe it's going to be, I think, at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to play Gartic Phone for maybe a couple hours. So yeah, just watch Twitter. That's where most of my news has been posting. Also, Aleja, where are you posting most of your stuff? On Twitter, Instagram?
I try to do both. So my Instagram stories, I don't post on Instagram. I use my stories. So you have to go watch my stories. I will not post. That's not what my Instagram is for. If you want to get news on Instagram, you have to watch my stories. Otherwise, yeah, I post everything on Twitter. So
okay. So for those of you who have Twitter, keep an eye out on Twitter. Otherwise, Instagram, Discord, all of the things. You guys are amazing, wonderful people. And we will see you next week on
Bye.
Literary Solstice.